Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of DSN's Direct Approach podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Moorhead, and today's guest is a prolific innovator, inventor, entrepreneur, and owner. He holds over 130 patents, predominantly in the area of regenerative science and technology. He and his company have received numerous awards, and it's also one of the fastest growing companies, both inside and outside of the direct selling channel. And to top it off, they're celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. I'm honored to welcome LifeWave's founder and CEO, David Schmidt. David, thank you so much for being on Direct Approach today.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And congratulations again on an incredible 20 years. It's truly an inspiring story. And as I mentioned right before we started recording, we've received a lot of interest, a lot of requests for an interview with you to hear more about the incredible things happening here at LifeWave. So we're all very excited to hear directly from you what you've accomplished and what you see coming down the road this next 20-year chapter for LifeWave.
Oh, it's been an amazing journey, absolutely amazing. The channel has been just so good for me personally and, of course, for LifeWave. And we're really looking forward to blazing some new trails over the next 10 to 20 years. And we certainly have a plan to grow the business. And absolutely, I'm very excited about the direct selling channel. This is where we want to be, and we see a huge future ahead.
Absolutely. You've been an incredible champion for the channel, for direct selling. And really continue to add so much energy and excitement for brand partners, for customers, and for all of us here at corporate. So thank you for all you do.
Oh, absolutely. Our 20th anniversary event was the best event that we've ever had. And, the fact that we were celebrating 20 years absolutely helped. But I think this is important for the industry in the sense that what we're doing is using innovation in a number of different ways, not just in product development, but how we think about events, how we think about the channel, how are we going to attract new brand partners and customers from outside the channel. And the 20-year anniversary event that we just had in October was an opportunity to test the waters in a few of those areas. And I'm delighted to say that every single one of those things that we tried is paying off. So, certainly other companies in our industry can learn from that.
Oh, absolutely. The event itself, I was fortunate enough to be there, was really one of the most incredible events in all of direct selling that I've been to. Record attendance, again, pulling in more than any conference I've seen in the last several years. And the inspiration, the excitement that everybody felt coming off that is truly incredible. And I'm glad that you mentioned innovation, because I know that is really kind of at the forefront of how you build and lead and develop products and companies and new technologies. And we're excited to really dig in more and hear about that process from you. Before we go too far into the future, I'd love to take a little bit of a step back and hear the path that led you into direct selling and why you chose this business model to bring your innovative products to market.
Well, this is going to sound unusual, but I never wanted to be in direct selling. It was the furthest, from my mind. And I had been developing technologies for the U.S. Navy. I'd been an entrepreneur my whole life, so I had a computer business that was doing fine. I was kind of making a living at it. And then I had an opportunity to start to work on some of my inventions with a small group of guys. We started a company in Georgia, and because of our contacts, we were able to start pitching a number of very, very big defense contractors like General Dynamics, Raytheon, Newport News, GE, on these new technologies that myself and others at the company were developing, and we got very far along with that. So I had thought I was going to be just an inventor my whole life, and 9/11 really changed all of that, because when 9/11 hit, understandably, the government was interested in developing weapons, and I was working on things to save people's lives, emergency systems. So I had spent several years coming up with this concept of the LifeWave patch and decided to set up a company and then take that out to market. And of course, early on in the process, I had to think about doing clinical studies, setting up manufacturing, and then, of course, how are people going to find out about this product, and what channel are we going to use to sell it? So initially, I thought about infomercials, going to retail. I had meetings with GNC, and I had met a series of people along the way, and it was a perfect example of the power of direct sales and network marketing. And as we began to do demonstrations of the technology with people, it became very obvious that face-to-face selling was going to be much more powerful than simply having the product sit on a shelf. So the real moment came in the 2004 Olympic trials. I had been working with Coach Richard Quick at Stanford University, and we had his Stanford women's swim team using the patches in Olympic trials. And we made national news. And there were maybe 1,000 people or so that had come forward and said, wow, I'd really like to distribute your product. And it was that time that I decided to go full in on setting up LifeWave as a network marketing company. And I thought, if you could take on networking in a way that maybe was done differently than had it been done before, that it could be really something very special. So that's really what got us started. I just had no idea what I was getting into at that point, but it's been amazing.
It has been an amazing journey, as we've all watched from the sidelines over the last couple decades. And it is, unprecedented. A lot of the companies that you had worked with prior to coming into direct selling, so impressive, was such an amazing track record of success and innovation. And it is interesting as I talk to other founders and entrepreneurs, especially with products that are so innovative, so differentiated, that have such a strong foundation in the sciences and in technology, that they do see direct selling, that personal kind of one-to-one ability to explain, to demonstrate, to really go deep on the product and its value. How many people see direct selling as the best way to go to market and get that great information out? And so I know all of us are glad that you selected direct selling as the channel for these products. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. I think anyone that's tried it fully understands that. I'm curious, those early days, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced to, even keep the company alive and to scale it? And then how did you overcome those to be where you are today?
There were huge challenges at multiple stages in the company. And several times, more than once, I nearly went out of business. And in the very early days in getting started, in getting the company set up in 2002, I had a small amount of money, but was way undercapitalized. But I never really thought about that. I just thought about, how can I minimize expenses? How can I, each day, I need to be calling people, scheduling meetings, sending emails, working on the problems of getting clinical studies done and setting up manufacturing. So essentially I came up with a game plan of everything that I needed to do over the course of, let's say, a year, and then break that down into weekly activities. It's not very much different than what a brand partner would do in building their business. So I think part of it is having a lot of patience and having a lot of persistence and committing yourself to a daily regimen of work, and setting those goals and objectives and having a daily plan to get those things done. But inevitably you're going to run into challenges along the way, and it's an amazing opportunity, I think, to first deepen your relationship with God, have a life of prayer and seeking guidance, and also really finding out who you are as an individual. Are you really committed to what it is that you're trying to do? And ultimately, if you're not in love with what it is that you're trying to do, you should probably get out and do something else. Because in the beginning, there was 12, 14, 16-hour work days. And unless I really believed in what I was trying to do, I never would have made it. So about 6 months in, I think I was around $50,000 in debt and, living off of credit cards. And I had a wife and kids to support. And it was just at that time I had someone come in and put in a pretty fair amount of investment capital. And I was lucky enough later on to make some money and then buy that person out. And there were a few kind of stages like that. And then in 2006, we faced a massive credit card fraud. And in a matter of a single month, we lost about 50% of our brand partners. And that was all in October of 2006. So going into Christmas, we didn't have any money to make payroll. So I had to virtually empty my bank account to make payroll, cover company bills. And I thought, well, I'm not sure if the company is going to make it into January, but I want everybody to have an okay Christmas, and I'll worry about it in January. Each month in 2007, we were able to barely cover our expenses. It was kind of like, which vendor, are we going to pay this month? And I was we had our office in La Jolla, California. And every Sunday, I would go for a walk on the beach for about 3 or 4 hours. And I would just look for guidance. I would pray, look for guidance. And I remember we got to March and I was thinking, Lord, I know this is what you want me to do with my life, but I don't know how to make it. Can you please, give me a sign? And it wasn't too much after that, maybe a month or so after that I got home on a Friday night and there was a letter in the mail from the IRS. And I thought, I don't know, I'm barely hanging on. I don't know how much more of this I can take. And we had overpaid on our taxes the year before, and it was a refund check for $163,000. And that money allowed us to make it through the end of the year. And then in 2008, we had a brand partner sign up in Europe who just did an amazing job. So sales in 2008 were double of 2007. 2009 was double of 2008, and 2010 was double of 2009. So we were able to make it through that really difficult time and come back and be stronger than ever.